biggest issues plaguing modern men is that the vast majority of them lack a tribe of other virtuous, trustworthy, masculine men who gather for the sole purpose of improving themselves and their lives on a daily basis. Most men simply float through space, working a dead-end job, only to go home to a nagging wife or girlfriend that doesn't respect them. Their friend circles are nothing but fat, low testosterone losers who are more concerned with what sports teams are playing this weekend and what bar they're going to watch the game at. If these men are lucky enough to unplug from the comforting lies that modern society sells them and decide they want more out of life, they look around and realize they need to get into a better room. That's where a private community of men chasing excellence comes in. Men in our community have all committed to being the best versions of themselves that they can possibly be. They willingly run toward challenges, knowing that pushing themselves out of their comfort zones is the key to unlocking their true potential as men. If you're ready to take control of your life back and curate a network of successful and knowledgeable men, now is the time to seize the opportunity.
Dude, I'm stoked for that trip. I've been putting in the fucking steps every day too.
A couple more weeks. Almost here.
2 more weeks. We got like 30 plus guys coming up for this event.
Crazy.
And it's gonna be hardcore, man. I'm walking today 12,500 steps put in there. So,
big time.
And I'm rucking them too. So guys, we're gonna follow up last week's show if you didn't see it yet. This is the third of the series. We got the 21 red flags to sort of rip through tonight. We're doing violent women, extreme jealousy, and party girls. And you'll be able to call in. We're going to run this for about 90 minutes. Call-in link is pinned at the live chat of YouTube's. So that's where you get in. I guess should we recap anything from the last show, or you just want to let them watch it?
No, tell them to go back and watch it. All good.
Go back and watch it. There you go.
Gotta make sure I pin this, actually. Hold on. It's pinned. Yeah, you're good. Now it is.
Okay, so let's do violent chicks. Red flag number 17. All right, so I'm just going to read it straight out of the book, and then we're going to chop it up, share some stories. You guys can call and ask any questions on any of these topics that you'd like. We'll probably leave taking the call-ins towards the end of the show. But anyway, number 7, violent women. So women that have violent tendencies are a massive red flag. I bolded that in the book. Early signs of violence are a small punch, a shove, attitude change. However, I've counseled many guys that have dodged knife attacks or had objects thrown at them from angry women throwing a hissy fit. Men are physically stronger than women, usually by a wide margin. So when there is a domestic violence issue or a call to the authorities over it, even if you're the innocent party making the call or defending yourself, it's likely that you'll be the one taken away in handcuffs rather than her. In most DV cases, men are automatically presumed guilty and women protected, even if she was the one starting the physical abuse. Moff, do me a favor. Can you put the red flag ticker just up at the bottom there for me? I've seen peaceful men during a divorce removed from their own home and children because women accuse their husband of domestic violence that never actually happened. I know this for a fact firsthand in many, many cases. Violence from any woman towards you for any reason should never, ever be tolerated. It's grounds for terminating the relationship immediately. To protect themselves, men must use their cell phone as a shield. The way that I describe it in the book, I'll continue reading this in a second to sort of clarify it. You're in a relationship with a gal, you're married to her, she's going crazy, losing her mind. You just turn on the phone, start recording, hold it up to your chest like this so you get the widest angle view possible, and then you just back out of the room, show your hand like this. Cool your jets. Just relax, please. Come on. We don't need this again. Make sure all of this is documented, and you get the hell out of the way, okay? Because last thing you want is to have her accuse you, and you don't have any evidence of anything otherwise. Okay, so use your phone as a shield. Record the video of erratic behavior for proof for the authorities or in your lawyers. If I haven't made it clear enough at this point, avoid all violent women at all costs. They're not even worth an FWB type of arrangement. When it comes to violent women, the juice truly isn't worth the squeeze. Some guys, usually guys that don't have better options, will stick with a violent gal. Oh, she's nice, she's sweet, or she's not always like this, or she touches my pee-pee. Whatever your excuse is, that vortex of excuses that you sort of run through your head, it's not worth it. It really isn't. You're far better off putting your effort and resources into cultivating better options, more abundance in your life, improving your value, improving your attractiveness, so you don't have to tolerate psychopaths. You have the right as a man to reject chaos and anything that's going to rob you of your joy. I'm very, very serious about that. I had a date once, with this gal Moth, smoking hot chick. She was a personal trainer, so you can get an idea of what her bod might have looked like. And we're sitting there. You go for a stroll. You got your coffees. As I talk about in my book, how you're normally supposed to do the first stage is a sniff test. You're chopping it up. You're having a conversation. She starts asking some questions, and she says something along the lines of, "Hey, Rich, have you ever been in a police car before?" And I'm like, I'm thinking in my head, like, that's a very strange question to ask somebody, that you've only known maybe for like 40 minutes or so. And I was like, wait. I go, have you ever been in the back of a police car? And she's like, yeah. And then she proceeds to tell me the story about how her ex-boyfriend wouldn't let her in the house, and she went around the side of the house and picked up a log that was used for the wood-burning fireplace and threw it through the front window. He called the cops. She ended up in the back seat of the car. I didn't bother seeing that chick again. Like, to me, that just was not worth it. I don't think under any circumstances it's really worth it for you guys to engage in a woman that has violent tendencies. At the first sign of it, it should be immediate dismissal. What's your thoughts, Moth?
Yeah, I mean, this is the only, because guys love to ask, like, well, like, she's got a couple of the red flags, like, which ones are deal breakers and which one can I look the other way? This one is not. This is a non-starter. Not only because a woman that will put hands on you shows a blatant disrespect for your power as a man and what you can do to her. And like every day I'm seeing, I mean, there's just something happened. I saw something on X the other day. This woman got in this guy's face in a Walmart, and I don't know, she punched him, but she kind of like mushed his face or gave him like a forearm shiver. And he just like, stiff armed her, right? Like in the sternum, and she went flying and landed, and she was rolling around on the ground, like couldn't get up. And you can look at Hollywood and all these Charlie's Angels, and it's like, oh, here's this 120-pound soaking wet girl that's beating the crap out of 250-pound guys that are supposedly, trained in martial arts, and there's these experts, and it's a dangerous thing to propagate, but you can't win in that situation no matter what. You defend yourself in any way, you fight back in any way, you're getting carried out in cuffs, and you very well might do some damage that is going to land you in jail or permanently, damage or injure a woman. Because just, again, I mean, if you're a guy that has any strength at all and it's an average woman, I mean, you blow on her, like you blow her and she falls down. Like, I will tell a quick story. So I got punched in the face by my ex in college. So this was, I can't remember exactly how this started. There was this going into my senior year of college, I dated this girl, and I talked about her on the podcast before, but the first chick that I ever was really serious about, we had been together all of junior year, and then she was going to London for an internship, and I was staying in the States, and we basically didn't talk for 3 months. Basically, the second date, she landed in London, and she was like, hey, by the way, like, I need to do my thing while I'm here, and don't call me, I'll call you. And at the same time, that was a really great summer for me, man. I got laid all kinds of times. Like, I was just, that was like, I was going nuts that summer. But came back to school, and I had actually started dating another girl over that summer. And then I came back, and then the girl, who came back from London, the girl that I had been dating, was like losing her mind. Oh my God, I can't believe you would do this. I can't believe you would date some other girl. Or like, we were supposed to have our whole senior year together. And of course, I'm 22. I don't know any better. I'm the blue-pilled, plugged-in guy. And she had always been, I remember I had gone through her stuff before, like I dug through her closet and found old journals of writings that she had kept about this boyfriend that she dated all throughout high school and then all throughout college until I came along. And he was always the dude that I knew was in the back of her mind. I said something along the lines of, I was like, you're just mad because, I'm not going to say his name, you're just mad because XYZ dumped you and got another girl and like wouldn't give you the time of day, and he doesn't want you back. Like, I'm sorry that you're second place. And she just went, pow, like hit me right in the mouth, dude. Just like straight right in the mouth. And I In that moment, I like lunged after her to like shove her or grab her. And then I was like, oh, better not. And then, yeah, like, and then we spent the rest of the senior year, like trying to work things out. And I still tried to be the savior. And I tried to save her and I tried to do the right thing. But yeah, I mean, in hindsight, actually, this is the first red flag that the aforementioned ex does not have. So she's 6 for 7. She wasn't violent.
Shoot.
But did I freeze? Am I good? Am I still there? Check 1, 2. Am I live? Chat, can you guys hear me or no? I'm good. I think Rich might have frozen. Rich might have dropped off. Okay, Rich froze. So to continue the story, as Rich figures that out, yeah, she ducked me right in the mouth, and I got big lips, as you guys can see, and I have sharp teeth. So I got a little bloody, but yeah, all learned that the hard way, man. But no, I had never had a girl that got violent with me again after that. But in hindsight, obviously, should have ended that relationship immediately and that sort of thing. And it's yeah. It was a wild time. And that's before I had like guns in the house and things like that, where if I had that now, like, well, I do have that now, so don't come knocking. But we'll wait for Rich to get back in here. But yeah, this is a pretty cut and dry one. You're never going to win ever. Like, even if she attacks you, even if she comes at you with a weapon, even if there is ample evidence that she is the person that started it, she is the person that instigated it, cops show up and somebody's got to be taken away in cuffs. And 99% of the time, it's going to be you. Somebody that asked in the chat, did you notice her behaving aggressively before that? No, like we had never fought. We had never done anything like that. It was very, she had never even done so much as like slapped me. So there was no violent tendencies, but I knew that was the nerve. That was the ultimate nerve that I struck. I was out for blood when it came to that's why I said that about the ex-boyfriend, because I knew that I was always the stepping stone, or I knew that she like basically was alpha widowed by this guy, and I just wanted to stick it to her. And I did, and I got a nice right hand to the mouth to show for it. So yeah, good times. So I don't think there's anything much more to say about it. I mean, you're going to get taken away in cuffs. It doesn't matter who starts it. There's really no reason to deal with a woman like that at all, ever. The full stop, violent tendencies. A girl putting hands on you in general is no good. And like, you can look at this stuff. Like, if you're a guy like me and you're messing with the girls that you're dating and you're screwing with them and you're like slapping their ass as they walk by, or snapping them with the towels they get out of the shower or whatever, tickling their feet to mess with them. Notice if they start hitting you, or they start just, wailing on you or giving you smacks and things like that. Those are potentially precursors, and you need to look out for that kind of stuff. So there should be a no tolerance policy whatsoever. A girl should never be putting hands on you in any shape or form or capacity. And if she does, like, just out the door, man. Take the trash out to the curb. Let's move on to the next one as we wait for Rich to come back. So red flag number 9 is party girls. And when he comes back in, I'll see if there's anything else he wants to say about actually, no, we skipped one. We're going to go to extreme jealousy first, but we'll see if there's anything else he has to say about the violent women. So red flag number 8 is extreme jealousy. Women want to be with a man that other women want to FUCK, but they don't want their man actually going out and banging those other women. This dichotomy of female nature is something that men will always struggle with. A degree of jealousy, also known as competition anxiety, is a good thing as it keeps her working hard to keep you. But it becomes undesirable when the women are so insecure in themselves that they always make her problems your problems, distracting you from your purpose. They will be like a predator drone, always keeping watch on you. She will constantly text, scan through your receipts, see where you've been, what was ordered on the receipt, look for hairs that aren't hers, and she'll want to look into your phone, creep on women that follow and like your social posts, and even count the number of condoms in your nightstand drawer. It's exhausting. She'll drain you of your sanity, joy, and dignity. Jealous women have work to do on themselves, and it's honestly not your job to be their therapist. Yeah, all about that, man. Jealousy, in a way, competition anxiety can be a good thing. Applying some form of dread where a woman never really knows where she stands with you is a good thing. The worst thing that you can do if you're in a relationship or you're dating a woman is to give her the idea that she is the only girl and will forever be the only girl, and that there's nothing she can do or no wrong she can do to be stripped of that title of your woman or your wife or your girlfriend or whatever it might be at that time. There needs to be at least some degree. It could be a small degree. It doesn't have to be an everyday fear that you're going to be leaving and you're out the door if she doesn't, bring the mail in on time, or she doesn't have dinner on the table exactly at 6:30 p.m. the way that you want it. But she needs to know at any given time that if she decides to go against you enough, or she decides to step out of line, that you can simply just demote her or get rid of her entirely and go find better, more compliant, and easier going, more pleasant options than her. But yes, the jealousy, because women by nature like reassurance. They want it, they don't need it. What they actually really need is to be a little bit unsure of where they stand with you at any given time. This is what keeps them on good behavior. This is what keeps them doing the things to keep you that they did to get you, if you're going to do the monogamous thing. So by giving a woman this untethered, this unfettered knowledge and security, her warning bells are going to go off. The sirens of, well, like this guy is not, even looking at other women, or this guy is not pursued by other women, or he is giving me so much time and attention, and I never have to worry about him even potentially doing something that's a little bit shady. This guy must not be able to get other women. This guy must not have any other value that other women can see. And if other women can't see his value, and other women aren't trying to hit on him, if they're not following him or DMing him, or they're not talking to him or giving him eyes when we're out on dates, or flirting with him in front of me, because women don't care, dude. Like, women will flirt with you in front of wives and girlfriends. They don't care. It's all in competition. But if that's not happening, then it becomes, what's wrong with this guy? Why is he not getting hit on? Why is he not getting flirted with? If you find it a girl is displaying these really unhealthy behaviors as far as jealousy goes, like the aforementioned condom counting, or making fake Instagrams, or DMing girls that follow you and trying to dig up dirt, there's just really there's no reason to keep a woman like that around. That's part of the boundary drawing process, where it's like, look, I've not done anything to give you or lead you down this road that is making you jealous. I am not going to tolerate this kind of behavior, but it's going to, yeah, like Rich says in the book, it will drain you. It will take a toll on you, the constant reassuring. And even something as innocuous as like talking to a girl in the checkout line, or saying thank you to a woman in the drive-thru. There are women out there like, oh, wow, like you can ask for that girl's phone number. That girl in the drive-thru is like giving you the come F-U-C-K me eyes. You should just break up with me and go be with her. It kind of ties back into the unhappy and unlucky. Like, the fact that she's always looking for a reason to nag you or to be jealous, it's just absolutely exhausting. So you want a woman that cares. You want a woman that is noticing that you are desired by other women, or understands your value outside of just her relationship, but not to the point where she's going to be a psycho about it, essentially. I haven't dealt with a ton of jealousy in my past relationships. Sometimes, I have at some points, and it can be very annoying, but for the most part, that's something that you control. If a woman essentially is trusting in you, or your leadership enough, where you say, hey, don't do that. Like, get off your phone. Don't go looking at my Instagram followers. Don't ask me who these people are. Don't ask me who this woman is. Because, well, who's this girl? There was something, God, I got an email from a guy. It was interesting because it was the guy that did this, but I know girls have done this before. No, it was the other way around. Like, he was emailing me, and every time he would get a female follower, she would ask him like who it was. Like, who is this? Why is this girl following you? Or she's like, I know exactly who's following you in every relationship you have with every girl that's following you. So why am I, what's going on with this girl? What's going on with that girl? Rich is backstage, but he should be able to pull himself back in. Let me just see if he can go. Can I pull you on? Are you good?
Yeah. I just can't pull myself in because I joined
okay,
from
cool.
the pin clip because my internet's totally
Gotcha.
cooked. So I'm doing this through my phone now.
Okay, we were in the middle of.
So-
I see your text now. So we were in the middle of jealousy. I went ahead and read the blurb and read the.
Okay.
But did you have anything else you want to talk about when it came to violent women?
No, violent women. I think we covered. You read the
Yeah.
blurb on jealousy.
Jealousy. Talked a little bit about the healthy jealousy, but yeah, and read the book part. But yeah, go ahead if there's anything you got.
Okay, so you want her to be like care. Like you want her to be interested in you. Like you want her to be concerned of your whereabouts, but not to the point where it's debilitating, it's frustrating, it's annoying, you lose sleep over it. She's like a predator drone that like monitors your every movement. Like, you're just unable to maneuver. And I get that a lot of guys get in this position. Like I've been in this position before several times. I've had way too many jealous girlfriends. I don't know if it's me or if it's just women in general, but they just suck. Like they suck the life out of you. Like they just rob you of your joy. They take the wind out of your sails, and they don't make the relationship fun. And fighting the jealousy doesn't work. I'm being absolutely honest with you. What you have to do is you have to have them lean into it a little bit more, if you know what I'm saying. Like,
What do you mean by that?
well, who's this girl? Let's use the Instagram, thing of example. Like, who's this girl that's following yours or something like that? Like, it's kind of ridiculous. Okay. Now, you might be, it also depends on your value too, right? Like, if you're a high value guy, you're kind of in a different ballpark now, right? Now you're at the point where it's like, you've done all this work, you got all the money, you got all the influence, you got all the fame. And it's like, now you're going to have comfort and options in your life. But I think for a lot of guys, for women, it's just mate guarding them, and they're trying to make sure. See, because women get jealous for different reasons, right? Like we get jealous because we don't want other guys banging our girl. Women have 100% assurance of paternity when they're pregnant. They know it's their child. There's no question. Men always have to ask the question, is it mine? So we're more concerned with the act of intimacy. Whereas with women, they're more concerned with you falling in love with another chick, with you removing resources, care, back 1,000 years ago, food, protection, like all that kind of stuff. That's not changed. Like that's still the same thing today, right? Like we're just more evolved monkeys that drive cars and talk on computers and the microphones and stuff like that. So none of that's changed. Like that's what her concern is. So if you just basically, I'm not going to give you guys like the exact conversation that I give guys in the school community because it's a slightly different talk, and this is YouTube, so I'm going to try to water it down for you guys. But you basically just look her square in the eyes and be like, look, this isn't going to work if you're going to behave this way. If you do A, B, C, D, whatever the negative behavior happens to be. I've had chicks go through receipts. I've had chicks go through. I remember I had this one chick once go through my fucking closet. Like I had a box with some old stuff in it, and she went through photographs that were at the bottom of the box with some other trinkets and whatever crap and garbage. She came marching out of the closet, and she's like, "Oh, I came across your I'll just use another name. Oh, I came across your Shelley shrine." And it's like, what are you talking about? The Shelley shrine. She's like, "Oh, your box in the back of the closet with all those photos." I'm like, "Are you fucking nuts? Like off the rocker kind of stuff." So all you have to do is just say, if you do insert behavior, whatever it happens to be, again, I'm going to know that you don't want to be with me. Okay, now that's for the average guy out there that has to deal with jealousy. It's like, just stop it, like knock it off. Okay, you don't engage with it, you don't argue with it. It's often crueler to be cool to women. Okay, so you don't get in the ground and like roll around and fight with them on it. That's what they want you to do. They want you to get down to that level and give them that emotional attention because that's what they're looking for.
Validation.
And it's actually exactly. It's actually crueler with women to be cooler with them. So you're very cool about it. You don't lose your temper. You don't yell at them. Stop accusing me of this, that, and the other thing. I've done all those things. Trust me, it doesn't work. It's way, way better just to be cool. Just be like, look, I'm not going to engage you on this nonsense. You can believe whatever you want. And then you turn around 180 degrees and you walk in that direction. You just behave very nonchalant. You're almost bored. with the conversation. This is just the way things are. Oh, well, why do all these girls follow you? I don't care. This is just the way things are. I'm way too busy doing, this shit in my life that's way more important than be concerned with so and so. I've had women march into a room and be like, I want you to block so and so on Instagram or whatever. And it's like, who? Oh, so and so. And it's like, I haven't talked to that person. I've never dated them. We never banged. They just happen to be part of a social circle that, where, oh, well, she follows you. I don't know anything about it. I'm not interested in that conversation. So fuck off. But basically, you just have to treat it like you're being a brat and we're not having the conversation. And that's it. When you get to the top shelf, then you can get yourself in a position where it's like, look, that's just the way it is. There's some options out there for me. Shut up. I hate to say it. I mean, there's a lot more to the conversation that needs to be discussed. We get into that in the school community. That's why we built all this higher level stuff. If you guys aren't in there, it's $50 a month. Go check it out. We'll make sure we put all the links below. But you have to be able to walk away from red flags that drain you of your Robin joy. And I know a lot of guys have been through the jealousy one before. It sucks. It's not fun. It's exhausting, and you just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, I think what's interesting, and especially, and this is, to ladies that might be listening, and we do have a couple of lady regulars in the chat and things like that, but women are really good at creating and manufacturing narratives that don't exist. Like the hamster wheel and these stories that women can create and make up in their minds are often far more powerful than the actual truth. So just like you're saying, Ryan, Dr. Terabin talks about this, where he's like, ladies, like, you need to stop going through your guy's phone, or you need to stop going and doing this detective work. You need to kind of turn up the ignorance a little bit and sort of the live and let live. Did you get pulled out? Or are you good?
Nah, it's my bad, man. Just
Okay.
just leave this one in. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No. So I was saying, what I was saying before you dropped out is that women are really good at manufacturing these fake scenarios that don't really exist. The hamster wheel, as we like to call it, like creating this. She will see a girl that'll follow you, and she'll create this whole narrative. You probably dated this girl. You probably did all this. You guys are probably in love. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't even know who this girl is. Like, I've never even met her or spoken to her or anything like that. And so one of the things that Dr. Terabin talks about, he's like, women, it would behoove you to just not go looking for things and not go searching for answers that you really don't want to find. Because here's the deal. On one hand, you're not going to find anything, and you're going to drive yourself crazy digging through all this. And then your guy's probably going to find out. He's going to think you're a crazy person. Two, maybe you do find something, but guess what? It's probably not going to be that big of a deal, or it's something that you're going to blow up over, and it's something that's just going to be mostly innocuous, and that is not going to be enough to cause all of this drama that you've manufactured. So, guys, one of the things you can do, it's like, I mean, dude, this is why, like, if you're serious about a chick, tell her to delete Instagram, tell her to make it private, tell her not to use it. You know what you could do? Take the phone out of her hand and put a Kindle in her hand instead. Buy her some books. Keep her busy in other ways. Tell her she can learn how to knit and crochet, learn how to cook, learn how to occupy her time in different ways other than, because women that are doing this are bored. It's like a dog that won't stop chewing up the carpet. She's just bored. Give her something to do, an activity to occupy herself with, because she won't have time to create these weird fantasy narratives about the girls you're seeing on the side or these girls that are following you and vice versa. So, guys, I hate to say it, and there's guys in the chat that might think, or in the comments, oh, that's too much work. It's like, I'm telling you, man, like, if you want to run a relationship, you have to run the relationship. This idea that women are going to self-govern themselves because of your value just doesn't exist. Like, it's work, man. Period.
Yeah, to that point of women being bored, I think you're right about that. The line that I've used before is like, look, babe, if you take a shovel and you go in the backyard and you start digging for dirt, you're going to find dirt. Okay. Yeah. It's out there. Like, you're going to start digging, you're going to find it. So how do you want to spend your time? Do you want to spend your time seeking misery? Do you want to spend your time finding ways to be sad or unhappy? Or do you want to spend your time in a happy relationship and enjoying yourself? Being with your guy, having a good time, doing cool shit, going on adventures, right? You're absolutely right. Like, she's got way too much time in her hand if she's finding too many things to be jealous about. Because at the end of the day, the whole thing is convoluted and messed up anyway. Because women don't want men that other women don't want. So they want men that other women want. They just don't want you to exercise the options with the other women, right? So it's like that's how women vet men. Is it's like, oh, does this guy have an orbit or have some attractive women giving him attention, looking at him? Oh, okay, so that must be a good guy. So now I want him too. Like, this is why women would rather date a married guy than go out with a broke loser that lives in his mom's basement, right? Women do this kind of stuff all the time. So until women start doing what we've been told that they should do and what they respond or what they're supposed to respond positively, which is like being a nice guy and buying her flowers and treating her well and never talking to any other girl or looking their way or some shit like that. Until they start responding positively to that, you have to do what they actually respond positively to, which is a little bit of dread game, which is a little bit of competition anxiety, which is fine. It's normal. They will get over it.
The more that I learn about this stuff and the more that I continue to see it play out in the wild, I think more than even status, I think that pre-selection is the most powerful indicator of value for a man. I think I can't remember which university it was, but it was, and there's two stories. I shared this on my last show on Thursday, but there was one where they took, they maybe approached like 50 women and they showed a picture. They said, hey, do you find this guy attractive? And it was, he's, this educated, he makes this much money. It was all of the same things down the board, but to one group of women, they said, he's in a relationship or he's married. Do you find him attractive? And it was like 50 out of 50. It was 100%. It was overwhelmingly yes. And then to the other group of women, the control group, they said he's single. And it was like half or less than half. Everything was the exact same except that one little figure, that one little thing. He's single or he's married or in a relationship. And when they said he was in a relationship or married, he was overwhelmingly more attractive. I saw something else where a buddy is like a friend of a friend. He's like, I used to wear a wedding band out to bars and women would hit on me and I would take them home. And then I would tell them, actually, I was single, and they would just lose their mind. And they would freak out. But it's like my success rate wearing a wedding band was always much higher than not. So like, ladies, think twice if you want to wife up a dude or marry a dude and you're going to buy him a wedding band, because you might have eaten women off with a stick. But, the more that I learn about this stuff, the more that I can tell. Like, it's why guys sometimes call. It's like, dude, like I wasn't getting any attention, and I got it from girls, and I was single, and then I got a girl, and all of a sudden, girls are looking at me different on the street, or they're accosting me, or they're trying to go out with me. It's like, what happened when I was single? Where did this come from? It's like the catch-22. It's like you'll never do better with women than when you're in a relationship, which is the weirdest thing.
Yeah, it's absolutely true, guys. All right, should we go to the next one?
Well, this is the third one. We can run the reel, or we can do it with the third one. What do you want to do?
Run the ad reel, man. I'm just going to make a little bit of a amino drink here. Then we can take some call-ins.
Guys, hit the call-in link if you've got stories or things you want to ask or share about this. But we got Kizza back here already. I know there was another guy that called in, but go ahead and come back here. The call-in link is pinged to the top. We'll see you guys in about 2 minutes. If you're someone who's gotten value out of the Unplugged Alpha channel and its accompanying best-selling book, then consider taking the next step in your unplugging journey and joining our exclusive community for Unplugged Men. Our community is made up of 4 distinct tiers. The School of Unplugging is where you'll find over 45 hours of content around dating, fitness, making money, increasing your testosterone, and more, along with weekly Zoom calls with Rich, Moth, and their hand-selected team of experts. If you're just starting out on your journey or you need a refresher of the basics, this is where to begin. The School of Entrepreneurship contains all of the content and Zoom calls from the School of Unplugging, plus Rich's flagship course on entrepreneurship, and an additional monthly call where Rich will personally evaluate your current business or prospective business ideas. Whether you're a current entrepreneur looking to take your business to the next level, or a hopeful entrepreneur looking to build your network and get specific and targeted coaching around your business ideas, the School of Entrepreneurship is for you. The Unplugged Brotherhood. Formerly known as the 10%, if you're looking to be part of a brotherhood of men who believe that putting themselves through physically and mentally demanding events in order to grow, then look no further. This tier is where you'll find in-person meetups that will test you and force you to grow alongside other members to create bonds that will last a lifetime. Finally, the 1%. The most exclusive tier of our community is where you'll find the top shelf men who have maxed out the 7 spokes of looks, money, status, captivation, frame, unplugging, and game. This is where you'll find exclusive high-level networking events, masterminds, and access to the best of the best. And last but not least, we're a global community with members in nearly 30 different countries across 5 continents, and we're growing every day. Go to entrepreneursincars.com/community for more information. Fill out an application form to which tier interests you the most and book a call to see if it's a mutual fit. We'll see you on the inside.
Did you do Party Girls?
Nope, it's the last one. Still got to do that
All
one.
right.
So that's next.
Let me, okay, so I got the chapter here in the book. So that's red flag number 9. Most women under the age of 27 that have never been in a long-term relationship are in their party years. If you met your girl in a nightclub, bar, or other social event, and she claims to be in a relationship, or sorry, if she claims to be relationship material but still continues to party several nights a week, you've got 2 options. 1, tell her women with boyfriends don't go out partying, and if she continues, you walk away. 2, you keep her as a plate. Okay, so you put her in rotation. The party years aren't exclusive to women under 27 either. Sometimes she was married, young, had kids, got divorced in her 30s, missed the party years, so now it's not uncommon to see women in the later stages of their lives trying to relive the missed party era as an older woman. You see these gals in a nightclub moth. They're commonly referred to as MILFs, cougars, whatever. They usually wear leopard print clothing. You know the ones, right? You can't be in an exclusive long-term relationship with a woman if she's going out partying with her girlfriends regularly. The process involves hours of preparation time for her hair, makeup, and clothes for the purpose of marketing herself to other men. And if she's going out partying and selling herself to others, she's an out-here woman. Men have evolved to require fidelity from the woman they've invested in as a step of ensuring paternity. We talked about this earlier. This is not jealousy. Most men instinctively want to know that his woman is sexually exclusive with him. Do not fall for the new era beta male narrative of polyamory. It's a mating strategy for weak men that must resign himself to sharing women with other guys. When there's a conflict between what she's saying, what she's doing, and she's acting single and she goes out to party, then believe the actions, never the words. Actions always speak louder than the words. Dated a few party girls and their phones would always be going off at 2 a.m. from guys looking to hook up. Avoid party girls for long-term relationships and never limit yourself to one woman if you're dating a party girl. She's a plate. That's it. Spin her. We've had all kinds of names for these kinds of gals over the years, Moth. We used to call them bar stars. We used to call them party girls. Whatever it happens to be, you know, you see those street interviews, and we even had them on Ladies' Night where it's like, oh, you know, I'm not going out to meet any guys. I'm just going to dance with my girlfriend sort of thing. And it's like, yeah, okay. After 2 to 3 hours of prep work and, you know, sexually, you know, suggestive, provocative clothing in a dark area with plausible deniability and alcohol and drugs. Yeah, we're just going out dance. Why aren't you dancing at home in your living room then, you know, with your girlfriends if it's just dancing, right? So it's just not a good look. It's not a good look on you as the guy leading the relationship. It's not a good look on her. She's clearly still marketing herself. Because, I mean, truthfully, at the end of the day, if a woman sees you as her best, as her hypergamous best option, she doesn't want to go out with her friends partying. She doesn't want to spend the night drinking and loud nightclubs, and they just don't want to be in that place. She wants to be in your arms in a bed beside you. Okay, that's just the way that it is. You know, when a gal's in a long-term relationship, she says, "Oh, you know, we're going to go out with the girls. We're going to have dinner." Okay, go out with the girls and have dinner. I don't give a fuck. Have fun, right? But that's it. When they say, "Hey, you know, we're going to go to this bar or nightclub afterwards," you're going home. That's just the way it is. And it's not jealousy. It's not controlling. It's none of those things. It's just, if I'm to care about you and you're asking me for my commitment, then this is just the way things are going to be. And if you have a problem with that, bounce. We'll see you later, because you should have other options to move on to.
Yeah, this is a big one. We're back on the board, boys and girls. So we're now 7 for 9. My ex was a huge party girl. This had a whole crew of girlfriends. They'd go out. They'd ditch the boyfriends at home. The thing that I always noticed, and, you know, look, man, when you're in these situations, when you're in these relationships, your gut is often screaming at you. The voice in your head is screaming at you and shouting at you, and you know something is off, and you know that this is not how things are supposed to be. But if you buy into these narratives of you're insecure, you're controlling, women are supposed to be free, you're supposed to let her do whatever she wants because then blah, blah, blah. No, right? It's just not how things work. And we get so much pushback on this, and probably like the male friends thing are I would say the 2 biggest points of pushback we get on Ladies' Night, you know, and it's all this. in girls trips, and it's in the same vein, right? Girls trips, it's all in the same vein because look, women love to sit there and say like, we like to go and rent a cottage and then we sit around knitting and playing board games for an entire weekend. Maybe you do, but when you're talking about the vast majority of the female population, that's not what a girls trip is all about. They're going out, they're partying. And you know what's so funny is just like women need plausible deniability to have sex with a man, they also need plausible deniability to go get hit on men at clubs. Like the same women that'll go to a dude's house and say, oh, I'm not sleeping with you tonight, or I'm only coming up here to look at your turtle collection or whatever it is. And like hear you play some stupid guitar. Like I'm only going up to your apartment to hear you play Wonderwall poorly on the acoustic guitar. I'm not going up to sleep with you. Are the same ones who are like, I'm only going out to the clubs to party with my girls and have a good time and get dolled up and dressed up and dance. All things that you can do in your living room, but they'll dress it up with stupid shit like it's the vibes, it's the environment, it's the atmosphere, it's the attention, the drug of attention that you are getting from men. And it doesn't even have to be getting approached, because a lot of them say, well, I don't go out there to meet guys. I don't go out there, but you like the attention. You get off on the idea that there are men in the club that are looking at you or the bar that are making eyes at you or they're trying to hit on you, and the seeking of validation. And I know that's a different red flag, seeking attention, but it's in the same vein. And so that's all a problem. That's all an issue. And you're right. When a woman has no eyes for anybody else but you, she doesn't even want to go do that. She doesn't want to spend time with anybody but you. She wants to be around you 24/7. There's no interest, or there's no instance where other women or other people should win in a contest of, I want to hang out with them more than you. She will pick you 7 times, like, 7 days out of 7 days and twice on Sunday. And the other thing to note is this is something that my ex would do with me that I never really understood until I became unplugged, is that she would always look better when she went out without me. She would get more dolled up. She would get more dressed up. She would buy new clothes. She would do her hair differently. She would put on extra makeup and spend more time with getting ready than she ever did when she and I would go out. She might throw on like a decent outfit and do her makeup. But that was always something I thought was really weird. I'm like, you're going out and getting dolled up and dressed up, and I'm not with you. So who is this for? And it's all like, oh, it's for me. It's like, okay, well, that doesn't make any sense, right? Because if it's for you, like you would just dress up and you'd stay home and just look at yourself in the mirror, right? So, yeah, there's just nothing that can be gained dating a party girl. I lived in New York 7 years. I ran into my share of them. It's usually not just alcohol. There's usually some sort of drugs that are involved, especially party drugs. I don't have to tell you guys what those are, but you're just in a world for her if you accept that sort of stuff. There's just no reason to date a girl that's going to be doing that kind of stuff at all.
I mean, date her, spin her as a plate, but don't take her
Sure.
seriously. Like if a girl ever comes to you and says, hey, like, what are we? Like, where do we stand? Where is this going? And then in the next breath, she's like, oh, by the way, I'm going out tomorrow night with Becky and all my friends for Sally's birthday or some shit like that. It's like, are you kidding me? You want me to commit to you, but you want to keep going out dancing and dressing like that and shaking your booty in front of other guys? I can't take you seriously. Sorry. I got I'm good. And you just let her know you're good. Like, you still want to keep hanging out. You want to chill from time to time. You want to hook up. Fine, whatever. You're already doing that, but just don't fall for this girl. She's not the one, guys.
Yeah, you posted this today on your story where it's like, look, they say they want these high value guys and they say they want these top shelf men, and then they go and they exhibit behaviors that turn those guys off and they're not going to put up with. It's like they can't help themselves. And without the proper leadership and the proper guidance, they're going to continue to be doomed to doing stupid shit. So yeah, I mean, I've had guys that have done this. They're like, hey man, like I really don't like how much my girl parties. It's like, dude, you're kind of screwed. Like too many guys. I'll tell you this, man. A lot of guys don't believe me when I say this, but there's a lot of guys that come to their unplugging moment as a result of bullshit that's going on in their current relationship. And they think if they learn the material, they can Jedi mind trick her into changing, or they can learn all these new things. I'm going to tell you guys straight up, if you're in a relationship that you got into when you were plugged in and now you've unplugged and you think it's going to change, you are almost certainly better off just ending the relationship and starting fresh with somebody else. She's not going to see you as this new guy. She's going to see you as a LARPer, as a pretender, as a phony or whatever it is. And it's like, you can't, I say all the time, you can't go back in the story. You can't go from day one, I'm going to let this girl party and smoke and drink and do all this stuff and go out with girlfriends. And then on one random day, you're gonna be like, hey, by the way, like, I don't like the fact that you're a party girl. And they'll use the line, like, I don't take girls seriously. They're party girls. It's like, but you already do. You already are. And you have no leverage. And like, what are you going to do? Break up with her? If you got some balls, you would, but most guys won't do it. So you guys really are not doing yourselves any favor by, staying in relationships that you got when you were plugged in. It's just not going to work. You got to know when to cut the ripcord or pull the ripcord.
The key to all of these red flags, and I mean, like, even this one as we're talking about it, is you only bend the knee to women and fall for this party girl bullshit if you're not her best option. The key to all of this is investing in yourself, increasing your value and your attractiveness, because you won't have to say or do much to a woman that's with the best that she can get. She's not interested in going to nightclubs and dancing and hanging out with her girlfriends and getting shit-faced because you feel like crap the next day. It's a waste of your time. You get passed around by all the other guys. She wants to be with the best that she can get. And if she sees you as that, and you can manage the frame of the relationship, and you're a handsome, competent, resourceful, successful, all of those things that I keep telling you guys, put into yourself, then it's not going to be an argument. It probably won't even be a discussion.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like the key to all of this is you making yourself the best version of yourself. Take a good hard look at the motherfucker looking at you in the mirror, when you stare at yourself, and ask yourself, what am I? Like, where am I at in life? Have I achieved, like, when I write in my book or I talk about, the notion of guys should aim to be a millionaire by the time they're 30, how many guys have pushed back on that and lost their mind? Oh, Rich is so out of touch with reality. He was spoon-fed, silver spoon. He got lucky in his business. All these bullshit excuses. And it's like, no, loser. There's a lot of very, very successful guys, even in their early 20s, that are multimillionaires. And they're the ones that are having the best experiences. You are the ones that are having difficult times because you're dealing with low-tier, difficult women, and you just don't care. When you have more optionality, when you have more options, when you're doing the work on yourself, and you don't care, then you're just like, fine, go. I don't care. You want to go to nightclubs and be a whore? Bye. Have a good night. And then you just call up the next girl that doesn't do that, right? Or two girls, and they say whatever you want because you don't care. You really don't care. And it's a not giving a fuck attitude where they're like, holy shit, maybe this guy's serious, right? And they take a good hard look at you like, I can't fuck this up. Why would I go out with these dummies if I got this king over here in my corner? You see what I'm saying, guys? Sure. Like, the reason why they step on your dick and kick dirt in your face and behave like
you
this,
let them.
Exactly, because they know they can get away with it.
You get what you tolerate. We got a bunch of calls back here. You want to start getting to them?
Yeah, take them.
All right, we got
Hey,
Bushcrafty in the house. What's happening?
hi. I just split one of my beehives earlier today, but they seem pretty chill. And I am like here for about 5 minutes because both the kids are due to wake up any minute now. But yeah, I have to chime in about the whole violence thing because it is way more common than a lot of women will admit. But I have yet to have somebody male be my acquaintance. And I have yet to meet a man that when they started opening up doesn't have a story about female violence. Like frying pans, getting punched, somebody with a tire iron one time, but no names. I'm just going to say it's way more common than women will admit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I buy that.
It's absolutely true. I mean, there's no lie detected there. There's a lot of violent women out there, and they just seem to get away with it a lot more than men because women are forgiven for this stuff. Plus, society looks at women like, oh, she's just a girl. She can't hurt you. Like,
Can't
what's
hurt
she
you.
possibly
Can't
going
do
to
anything.
do?
Yeah.
I know somebody personally that had knives thrown at him, and he had a knife embedded in his thigh. Okay, and he had to get stitches to get the bloody thing taken out. You can't sleep on this one. There's just no room to wiggle on it. You know, if she's violent, forget it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And yeah, also like so common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right,
I'm just
thanks for chiming in.
I can actually hear a child in the distance, so
all
I'm
right.
going to
Go
have
handle
to skip
business.
out on you guys though. But I
All right.
love your show and you guys are worth supporting. So hey,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thanks.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I'll say two things on that point real quick. Women are overwhelmingly more likely to commit infanticide, so kill their children, than men are. And
Yeah,
women, like the relationships that have the highest rates of domestic violence are, what are they, Rich?
they're women. Women on women, actually,
Lesbian
lesbians.
relationships. Yeah, they beat the shit
Yeah.
out of each other. So,
Yeah.
I mean, what does that tell you? I think you're right though. It's like, oh, like women can't hurt you, or like, oh, they're so soft. Like, oh, well, you can't beat up a woman, dude. Like, oh, you can't handle a woman. Like, you know, not to downplay it, but that's what people will usually,
I mean,
throw their way.
I've sparred with women at the dojo, and they don't hit for shit.
Oh
So
my God,
I get
dude.
why they say that, but it's like,
I
they can
don't
throw
like doing
things.
that. Yeah,
Knives
throw a
and
frank one.
guns are dangerous. Okay, and there's things that they can say and do that can, put you in the back of a cop car or lock you up overnight or even longer if they say, the wrong thing about you.
Indeed.
So be careful with that stuff.
All right, let's get to Raphael. What's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, bro. What's up?
Yeah, I hit up Rich in the comment section. I'm the veteran that was saying that if I got a chance, I'd like to talk about like the military, everything that happened over there. If we got like time for that, I wasn't 100% sure.
And what's
What do you got? You got a question or?
Yeah.
No, it was it was to chop it up and talk about like my service and the war and things like that.
Like, what specifically do you want to jam on?
Like the things that happened, basically. You know what I mean? Like what it was like to be in the military, what it was like to be at war, the effects of war, when you get out, how it affects veterans and stuff, like that kind of thing. I wasn't sure. So like if you wanted to do
That sounds like a little bit of a longer conversation, like 15, 20 minutes. You want to call me on Wednesday when I'm doing my show on the Unplugged Alpha at noon Eastern?
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, that works.
Okay. Yeah. Do that so that we can try to stay as much on topic on this one tonight, because this sounds like a slightly different story.
Okay. All right. No problem.
All right, man. See you then.
Oh yeah, Tony. We got guys in the Brotherhood. Yeah, we do. Got a lot of vets, man. Got a lot of guys that can share their stories. We get a lot of veterans. You guys would be surprised the amount of veterans we come to the community and the Unplugged Brotherhood. So always room for one more if they got good, interesting stories and they're looking for, to get that sort of camaraderie back. Who do we also got back here? Kizza, what's up, man?
How's it going, guys? So yeah, as you see by the title, explaining Elon derangement system. This was regarding Richard's last show when he was talking about Elon derangement syndrome.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and explain as best I can. So, just to give some context, I would argue the whole basis of this idea is based on the fact with Elon being a tech bro, an immigrant tech bro, who sided with the Democrats and as part of the California narrative. But post 2020, he has gone rogue, and to the I would say the ideologically captured leftists, he's regarded as a traitor to this. I guess you could say this religion, and him being a part of Doge, the government is effectively their god, and Doge is exposing the corruption and the wickedness of the god itself, and they are like going batshit insane with the exposure in question. That's basically the best way I could describe it. They're just so
that's a fair
ideologically
observation.
captured. Yeah.
By the way, I'm going to give him I'm going to give them a lot more to get pissed off at because they just gave me a new Model Y today to try out. So I'm going to have a go at that for a week and put a video up for that. So I'll probably lose a whole bunch more subscribers.
Well, to be honest, Rich, I didn't mind your review of the Tesla model itself and actually quite appreciated it. And to be honest, I would dare say you got a bit of a knack for doing car reviews, personally.
You know what? I had a few people say that in the comments. So stay tuned. I might have something coming up for that, a little more on the car side of things.
Well, yeah. I mean, so,
I like that style. Just sort of like driving it for a week and then keeping a list of the shit that's good and the shit that's bad, and sort of just chopping it up in the car because you don't have to. It's not complex.
No. I mean, Chris Harris has been doing it for years, and I like his reviews, especially
Harris is awesome.
Yeah, and actually on the Tesla point, Chris, with what you said about the Tesla, I was meaning to ask as well. I forgot to ask this in the comments. Would you be considering looking at an EV if it wasn't a Tesla, but like other companies, like the Porsche Taycan Turbo S, or maybe a BMW EV model?
Buddy of mine has a Porsche Taycan GTS, the hatchback one. Nice car, but it doesn't get the range that the Tesla does, and the supercharged network's just way better for Teslas. So I think it's just an appliance. Like I look at that car in my drive and I'm like, it just looks like an appliance. It's like it's a refrigerator or a stove or something like that. It gets you from A to B. I don't know. But I wanted to have a go on to see what it's like and compare it to my SUV and sort of provide some feedback. So keep an eye out for that one in the future.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, I understand a lot with us being car guys. I know Moff's probably going to get bored of us talking cars.
We got to keep it short, like another minute tops, because he's going to lose.
I drive a Nissan.
That's fair enough. Then. Yeah, in principle, I don't have issues with electric vehicles. In principle, I just hate all the political baggage that comes with it. And
I like them now because Elon's actually cool.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't mind in question, but anyway, thanks guys for having me on and allow me to explain the Elon derangement syndrome as best I could.
All right, man.
No, so you'll take care now.
All right, thanks. Do we have any other callers?
No, that seems to be it.
Anybody else want to call in? Now's your time to do it. It's funny because by the time you wrap up the show and you do the outro, there's like 3 people that pile in all the time.
Yeah, we got time for 1 or 2 more guys.
What time is it? 8:30. Yeah, we got time for a couple more if people want to take us up on that. We got a whole bunch more red flags. What do we got for next week? There's party girls. So tattoos, piercing, notch counts, and single moms. Oh, those are always popular. Those are always popular ones. We always pull the harpies out of the woodwork with that stuff.
Indeed.
All right. Are we good? Do we have any others waiting?
Claudia said she might want to call in. She's asking for us to do red flags for men. I don't know if we can do a show on
red flags for men.
I mean, you should be able to kind of discern that, right? Like,
all right. Well, look, we got some time, so why don't we take some time and talk about red flags for men? Well, okay. I got to think about this from the perspective as a man, as a father, right?
Yeah.
So, what do you not want for your daughter? You don't want her passed around. You don't want her masculinizing herself. So you don't want, this is from the ideal perspective, of course. This doesn't work for everybody, but it's like guys that are feminine, guys that are soft, guys that look for an equal partner, hearing words like that. Guys that can't fight. What fucking use is a guy in your life as a woman if he can't defend you from a piece of shit, if you guys are going out for dinner and you're being bothered on the street, right? What good is this man to you as a woman? What good is this man to my daughter if he's an absolute turd, right? This is why you have to lead as a man in your household and as a father to set these examples. So, for women, it's actually very simple because men prioritize availability. So any girl that's willing to touch your pee-pee, you'll probably go out with them if you're not a high value guy, right? So men prioritize availability, but women prioritize the best that they can get. So if they lean into their hypergamous nature and they stay away from the feminist narrative, the look for an equal partner that's willing to do the dishes for you and all that sort of shit. If they stay away from all the lies and all those narratives that don't serve them, and they just listen to their intuition of I need the best guy I can get. At the same time, be attractive. don't exhibit any of the red flags that we're talking about in this list. If you want to be in a good position, in a good bargaining position to ask for a top shelf man's commitment, you have to be like, it's funny because there was that joke. It's not really a joke, but Taraban made it. But he said something along the lines of, what do women want? They want a handsome guy that's rich and faithful, right? So those three things: handsome, rich, and faithful. He goes, pick two, right? You want handsome and rich? He's not going to be faithful, right? You want faithful and handsome? He's not going to be rich, right? So it's like there's a limited supply of the best that women can get. So they don't really have to worry too much about green flags and red flags. Like, I hate to say it, for women, it's just they already know what they want. They want the best they can get. So if you're going to get that, then you have to understand what that is, like what those men are, right? Because you want handsome, successful, rich, and loyal. You're not going to get all three. Pick two. And be the most compelling, attractive version of yourself that you can be as a woman. Be like, embed yourself into his life. Be useful. Be respectful. Give him the most mind-bending sex he's ever had, so he doesn't want to go out and get it anywhere else, sort of thing, right? I don't know. What do you think, Muff? Have you ever put any thought in that?
Not really. It's like women know what they want, right? Like women are already naturally geared towards the guys that they want, so they already have an inherent radar on the guys to avoid and the guys to go after, and they don't have to use logic in this way that guys generally have to do when they say, okay, well, if she has this red flag, then it's indicative of this kind of behavior, which means the relationship is going to likely fail because of that behavior. For women, it's just like, do I get the tingles and I get the emotions, and therefore this guy does that for me. It's always so funny to me, though. I was talking to Spencer about this on Ladies Night last week. Women are very selective when it comes to their intuition. Have you ever noticed how we were like, oh, well, we're the intuitive sex, and women are far better at reading between the lines, and we see things that men don't. Like, we're much more in tune with the universe and nature. We see things that you don't. We're just these, mentally attuned creatures. On one hand, on the other hand, they can't tell when a guy is lying to them about how much he makes or how many women he's sleeping with at that time. So pick a struggle, ladies. Like, you're either these super undercover secret spies that are super smart and smarter than men, or you're these helpless damsel in distress that crumble at just, a guy that can tell you a simple, bald-faced lie to your face. So, look, like guys that can't solve problems, guys that look for complaining, and guys that look to focus on problems instead of solutions, guys that are unwilling to tell you no. All of this seems counterintuitive because you can tell a woman all of these things. These don't sound like things that women want, but they are what women need. We say that all the time. Like, guys, you can't give them what they want. You got to give them what they need. So a red flag for a guy is a dude that just wants you to be happy. A red flag for a guy is a guy that says you're the happy wife, happy life, and he's lucky to have you. And he will, fly to the end of the earth to bring you whatever chocolate you're craving at that moment, or he'll get up in the middle of the night to do this and that and be at your beck and call on every whim. And all of that sounds great and fantastic until it actually happens. And you're like, this guy, I'm disgusted by him. It gives me the ick. So like, Claudia, like, go with your gut. Like, your gut is telling your gut has gotten you where you are. The evolutionary drive for you to mate with the highest value guy you can get is already working. Don't go looking for problems. And it's really as simple as that. Like, don't listen to your logical brain because it's only going to do you a disservice. Like, it's not going to work in your favor. Just go with your gut.
A lot of women make the mistake of wanting it all. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Huge.
Green flags. Well, tell me what the green flags are in men, Rich. It's like, well, you know what it is, gals? It's like, y'all want it all, and your long laundry list of what you want in a guy might exist, but you're not going to get it all in the same person. Like, you might get a lot of the stuff that you like, but he's just not going to be faithful. You know what the problem with hypergamy is? The end state of see, everybody's all monogamy, this, that, and the other thing, and monogamy doesn't really serve women. Monogamy actually serves men better, right? Like, monogamy fundamentally serves men far better than it serves women because it ensures every guy gets the girl or gets a girl.
Yeah.
But because women are hypergamous, the end state of that is polygyny. Because the best guys have to be shared, right? So it's like a lot of the conversations that you have with women is like, be beautiful, be feminine, be useful, embed yourself into his life, find ways, to complement it and be useful in such a way that you become irreplaceable. Be absolutely respectful. Give him the best bedroom Olympics that he's ever had, so he doesn't want to go off and get it anywhere else. And even if he does, who fucking cares? Because you got the full list of everything else anyway. It's a tough conversation to have with women, because it's like, green flags for what exactly, right? Like, how old are you? What stage of your life are you in? Like, are you 40? Are you 20? How serious are you about having a family? Are you 35 and you want to have a family, right? Like, there's different strategies for every. Moth, I could write a book for women one day, but I don't think they'd ever read it.
Right. They'd burn it, use it for firewood.
I stand corrected. They would read it, but only after they hit the wall the second time. You guys have heard me talk about hitting the wall. Women hit it twice. Not once, they hit it twice. They hit the wall first at 22, 23. No, exactly. They hit it once at 22, 23, and they hit it again when they come to the realization that they can't compete with the 22-year-old that they once were.
And that's when they start reading the self-help shit. So maybe it's that.
And then that's when they scramble for help, and they're 40 years old or somewhere in and around that. And they're like, everything. We see it all the time with ladies saying, I was lied to. Feminism lied to me. My mom lied to me. She said, get a bunch of degrees. Don't rely on a man, blah, blah, blah. Now I've got 6 cats. My house smells like cat piss and no man wants me. What are you going to do?
Got a couple guys back here. Let's get Kevin and then Tony, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay.
Kevin, what's up?
They once were.
That's when they scramble.
Kevin.
That's when they scramble for help.
The youngins, they don't scramble.
Okay, taking the other guy's talking to somebody else.
Okay. Got it. Tony, what's up?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, man. Go ahead.
All right, sweet. Yeah, just a short story. So I'm a veteran, had a couple combat tours, physically fit, pretty tough, got a couple fights, yada, yada. But got married, didn't really know that my wife was violent until it came to the time where she tried to get the emotional part out of me, which, they always want. Finally got the emotional reaction. My tipping point finally after, I didn't know what was abuse because we're never taught that as men, young men who are plugged in. But as an unplugged gentleman now, I realize that I should have gotten out of there a long time ago, especially before either a knife was thrown at me or a stapler to the temple. So I would say you're never safe, even as somebody who's trained.
Right. Yeah. At least when you're at war, you can shoot back at the guys. You can't, you can't really do anything to a woman.
Yeah, exactly. And I never wanted to do anything violent in front of my children. So I'd rather take the hits and walk away than, having to have that reaction.
How old are the kids?
Now, at the time they were, I believe, 4 and 1.
Okay. How old are they now?
Now they're older. I have them now. They're 10 and 5.
Okay.
And yeah, they're great. They love coming back. So it does get better if you work on yourself. Do the work, gents. That's all I got.
Yeah, the best.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm guessing in situations like that, you just have to untie the knot and get out of there. And it's tough because you have kids, and it's like, sometimes women don't really show the red flags for a little ways down the road, which is another reason why when, we were talking to guys, and I wrote about this in my book as well. You should be vetting a woman for as long as possible. I'd say 2 years before you make any kind of serious commitment to her, because within that period of time, if she's going to throw a hissy fit, if she's going to be violent, if she's going to demonstrate other red flags, you can at least, you haven't knocked her up. There's no bun in the oven. You haven't bought a house together. You haven't, made any kind of like deep formal commitments into the relationship, so it's easier to walk away. The problem that guys run into is men prioritize availability. So she gives him attention, touches his pee-pee, intimate, responds to his texts in a timely fashion. He's like, this is it, this is the one. And then 8 months later, after they met, all of a sudden she's knocked up and they're living together and they're planning the wedding and sort of stuff, and you don't have a full picture. So it's like, time and daylight sanitizes all bullshit. And just slow things down, guys. Just, do it on your timeline. And look, I get it. There's some women out there, they've climbed the corporate ladder, they got the degrees, they're 36 years old, they're counting their eggs drying up every single month, and they're going, what are we, Moth? If we're going to do this, we got to do this now. And it's like, you've only known this chick for fucking 6 months.
See ya.
And don't let her problems be your problems. Date younger. Date a gal that's willing to give you the space, so that you can take a couple of years to see what she's made of. She's not going to bust your chops every month to get married after she's counted her egg that's disappeared. Give yourself some time, because time will sanitize all the bullshit.
Indeed. All right, Kevin, we're going to try one more time.
Awesome.
You're on, my friend.
Hi, Mark. Rich, can you guys hear me?
Hey, man.
Yeah, we got you.
Hey, thanks. First, I just want to say thank you. We always appreciate what you guys do. All the guidance that you're giving young men. It really helps us, especially the people who don't have maybe that father figure who they were able to depend on and different things like that. But I appreciate that. Just want to get that out of the way.
Yeah, right on.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And then, okay, so we're calling in because I got this girl who I'm pretty sure that I completely fumbled this at this point, but we just met the second time. I basically closed the deal and it was a great night, but then she doesn't usually stay in the morning. She like Irish goodbyes, right? And so then she goes to Irish goodbye, but I say like, oh, hey, like, hold on. Why don't we just hang out and maybe enjoy the morning, get a cup of coffee, do something like a date or something like that. And so she kind of opens up, she gets into her feminine energy and she likes this. She's giving her trust to this guy. But then I just like died on my social battery and just got quiet. And then she just completely was in her own head, and she kind of dips and is like, oh, hey, I'm leaving now. And then I say, okay, that's kind of cool. I know the vibe shifted or whatever, but what happened? And then she goes, I think it's good. I just go out and I go on a walk or whatever. And so I was like, all good, all good. But then she turns around, she comes back, and she's like, actually, we're going to sort this out. We're going to figure this out. And she comes in, we kind of just say a couple of things back and forth, nothing really real. We don't really sort it out. We don't get to the end of it. She goes off. She goes and does her own thing. She texts me back. She's like, "Oh, it's a nice day out." We kind of, iron out everything and say, "Oh, it's chill, like whatever." And then I go to sleep, and then I wake up and I'm like, "Oh, waking up next to you is greater than that." Yeah, I know, Moth. I know, my man. I know. And then I was like, "But we're on our nonchalant stuff right now, so we're chilling." And then the worst part, it gets even worse, I know. So then today I don't text her. I'm actually playing it kind of cool. And I don't text her. I don't see her. I don't do anything, right? And then and I'm going to like call someone today, and I accidentally like butt dial and I hit the wrong number. It's her number. And so then I have to hang up, and then I send her a quick text. I'm like, "Oh, hey, sorry, I just butt dialed. I know that like that's probably the last thing that we should do, but and so basically complete fumble on my part, but just wondering if you got advice, if I should just cut the deal here. But I don't know. I got my head wrapped around, and obviously you could tell that I'm fumbling it hard.
Kevin, how old are you, man?
I'm 26 right now.
Okay. Dude, this is already way too much work and convoluted nonsense for a girl you've only hung out with 2 times. Like, this is crazy. I mean, why are you trying to make her stick around? Like, if she wants to bounce, like, just let her go. Like, you seal the deal. Like, why you're already trying to play house with this girl and say stay for brunch? Like, what the fuck's up with that?
I don't know. I think I was falling for her quickly, and
Come on, dude.
You're falling for her
What are
after
you
2
talking
dates?
about, bro?
I fall quick. I fall hard. I'm probably stupid in that sense.
No, it's not
You
about
need
being
more
stupid,
options, man.
It just tells me you don't have options. It tells me that this is
Yeah.
like the only girl in your orbit right now. Is that right? Is that, I mean, are you seeing other women?
I do see other women. I do have some other options, but I guess I'd probably just
Sexually? Like, are they actual sexual options that you're exploring, or they're girls that like you're just texting and doing whatever with?
No, sexually definitely options, but I just I guess I jump from one and like I just jump around a lot and I want to
Kevin.
commit, but I can't quite commit.
Kevin. Let me ask you an honest question because you're totally anonymous here. Nobody knows who you are. How many women have you been with?
Probably over 40, 50.
Over 50, and you're still thinking like this.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of like
So what's so special about this girl?
She reminds me of myself in a weird way.
Oh, so you're attracted to yourself. There's something within yourself that you want to deal with.
It might be something like that. I don't know. It's just
Because I mean, it just sounds like she's not that into you. She likes you enough to bang, but she's like wants to skip out of there quick. And I'll tell you something: if a woman really digs your vibe, she'll do whatever she can to like stay in your orbit.
You'll be kicking her out.
You basically have to be like, hey, you know, I got a meeting, I got to get going, I got to meet my family. Like, you got to get the fuck out of here, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's probably
You'll have to beat her with a stick to get her out of here. I mean, but listen, man, look, like the one thing that you said that really stuck out to me, it's like when she said, I'm leaving, and you're like, that's cool. And then she came back. Do you see what happens when you just leave her to her own device? All right, man, cool. You want to leave? Bounce, peace.
Yeah.
And then she's like, actually, no, we're going to talk about this. Like, she's coming back into your orbit. So, yeah, man. I mean,
so you kind of danced around that, Kevin. So what did you talk about when she came back? When she's like, no, we're going to talk about this.
Yeah, when she came back, she was like, why'd the vibe shift? Like, you shifted the vibe.
What does that mean? This is such Zoomer speak. What are we talking? What does shifting the vibe mean?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's kind of like the energy dipped. You know, we were like, we were doing really well together and connecting really well, and the chemistry, fireworks, everything. And then she just it just goes dead. It goes quiet.
So it dipped on your end because you showed a little bit less interest in it. You weren't going to chase her.
Exactly.
Okay, and then see what happened when you did that? She turned right around 180 degrees and walked right back and said, whoa, hang on a second. You kind of got a little cold on me. Can we talk about this?
Right.
Isn't that interesting?
It is. And so now I think the only move is to just go cold again.
Well, no. Here's the thing, though, Kevin. Like, everything that you've been told, and even though you got some experience, just about everything you've been told is bullshit and fucking lies. And there's still parts of it that you still believe. I'm like you. Maffa's like you. Every other guy watching this right now, we're all the same. We all wish the same shit that we've been told our entire life fucking worked. You get up in the morning, hey, let's go out and go for a walk and have a coffee. Hey, you know, let's go for a fucking stroll and, you know, watch the sunrise and shit and get some brekkie. You know, a lot of that stuff really doesn't work with them. And it's like, women have to kind of chase you a little bit. You know, they keep telling each other, you know, they keep fluffing each other up and lying to each other and shit and telling them fucking stories about how strong and brave and all this shit that they are. But they, at the end of the day, want to want you, right? Like, they want to miss you. You know what I mean? Like, they want to be able to text you after not talking to you for a couple of days because you've been busy and you just, you know, you're doing whatever. Maybe you're working, maybe you're with other chicks, who cares? But you're busy. And they want to be able to reach out to you and be like, hey, Kev, I miss you. You know, when can I see you next? You know, and then they don't want to wait 3 hours for that response. They want it to come, right? Like, they want to be like, oh, I'm free Friday night. You know, let's go out and do this sort of thing. And then it sort of rolls from there. They want to do that chase. You have to play these fucking games with women to make things work, and that's just the way that it is. This is just part of game. You know, when you hear game broadly defined by the Mano Swamp and by all these dating coaches, all these fucking nerds, this is basically the game, right? You have to play this game with women to have them respond positively too. Like I said, I wish buying them flowers and chocolates and opening the door for them was a shit that works, but it doesn't work. It's this game that you have to play back and forth, a little bit of this push and pull, having some options, being nonchalant about it, liking her but not liking her too much. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And so I guess so that's the way to go forward, is basically kind of just let it go, and if it comes back, then it comes back, but not to
Yeah,
show
you get
too
up in
much.
the morning. Yeah, you get up in the morning, and then you say, you know what? I'm going to get a coffee. I like coffee in the morning. You want to come with me?
Right.
That's it. She doesn't want to come. She makes it some shit. She wants to bounce. All right, I'll see you. Go get a coffee yourself. And then while you're out getting that coffee, you text the next girl and be like, hey, what's up? What are you doing today?
Got it. And then do those games ever end, or is there a point, like, is there a
No.
point where you
No, they never end.
Oh, my
It's a
sweet summer
never-ending.
child.
It's a never-ending game with women. You always have to play a little bit of a game. You got to maintain the frame of the relationship. You got to apply a little bit of dread. You got to make them, wonder
It gets
where you're at
easier, though.
sometimes. It does get easier. Like when
The
you
more
get
you
better
do
at
it,
it, you get
the better you
older,
get.
and the more you do it, and the more bullshit you go through, and the more heartbreak, and the
anything.
more lies. Like, you just get better and better at it. So no, you can't relax in a relationship, guys. I've said this a lot of times to you. I'll say it again. Dealing with women in a long-term relationship is much harder than just spinning plates, dating non-monogamously. And your reward for all of that work to maintain the frame with that one girl, to have her in your orbit, to be a compliment to your life, to be useful, to love and respect you and give you the best sex ever, is the same fucking chick you had last month, last week, last year. That's
Yeah, but I'd
that's
say
your reward
this.
for all this work.
right?
I'd say
And so
this,
that's
man.
why
Like,
it's got to be a real good girl, one that doesn't like cause all this chaos or problems or confusion and
I'll give you a book to read beyond my book. I mean, obviously, have you read my book?
I do have your book. I actually have the version of the book that's No More Mr. Nice Guy and different things like that.
Okay, I didn't write No More Mr. Nice Guy. That's Robert Glover.
Oh, I gotta get your book.
get the Unplugged Alpha.
Yeah, get the Unplugged Alpha, the second edition. But after
Second edition.
you've gotten that and you've gotten the basics, because my book's easy to consume, go get Dr. Orion Taraban's book, The Value of Others, and read it 5 or 6 times until it sinks in. The second half of the book is dense. It'll help you understand the dynamics of the longer term component of the relationship. The more than just getting the 50 notches. You can get laid clearly if you got 50 notches.
Right.
That's not a problem for you. It's the retention aspect that you're struggling with.
Absolutely. That's exactly spot on.
I'd say this guy before we wrap up. Like, it's just like shooting a jump shot, man. Or anything you try for the first time is going to look like shit. It's going to be ugly, but you do it 10,000 times, you get pretty good at it, and it just gets easier, right? Like, you get your black belt, the basics are just the basics, and they become reactive. They become the fundamentals. You don't have to think about it anymore. So you've got that working for you. You just got to keep working at it, and you got to keep nailing those things down. I mean, if you've gotten laid 50 by 50 different women, then I mean, you've got a solid grasp. So it is surprising to see you thrown off by one chick, but it happens to the best of us. 2, I would say in this particular situation, your course of action going forward is to do nothing. You don't reach out. You don't like her posts on Instagram. You don't find some innocuous reason for reaching out. If you butt dial her, you don't acknowledge it. You wait for her to reach out to you. And anytime a girl's going to reach out to you at all, she's doing it because she wants to see. You have to think about it. It's not always the case, but most of the time, if a chick's going to reach out to you, hey, what are you up to? Or like, hey, blah, blah, blah. It's night. Like a girl saying, hey, it's really nice out today. Like some bullshit about the weather. She just wants to talk to you and she's hoping that you're going to ask her out. So you continue to give some distance. You continue to let her wonder about you. And if she comes back into your orbit, you ask her out, you make a date, you go do something. And then that's how it goes from the time. You don't waste a lot of time back and forth texting. You use the phone to set up dates and opportunities to see her, and that's it. And so, but yeah, I mean, don't be surprised if you don't hear from her, and just continue to live your life and level up as a man and continue to focus on generating more options. And if she doesn't come back, she doesn't come back. And that's, you've learned the lesson the hard way, my friend.
Yeah, I'll say this, guys, to add what Moff just gave you there, which is some solid advice, is it shouldn't be that difficult. Okay, I'm going to say it again. Dealing with women shouldn't have to be this difficult. If again, like the key to all of this is attractiveness and value. If you're as attractive as you can possibly be and as valuable as you can possibly be in the sexual marketplace, if you get up in the morning and you're feeling a coffee, you're going to get up and you're like, feeling like that bomb ass coffee at that shop down over there. You think to yourself, I'm going to go get one. And then you look over at the girl and you'd be like, I'm getting up to go get a coffee. You want to come? And she's going to be like, yeah. She's excited about it. You don't have to sell her on it. There's no negotiation. There's no push pull bullshit back and forth. She walks out the door, comes back. Wait, I want to talk about this. It's actually easier. So the effort that you're using, the mental energy right now that you're using, trying to figure this shit out, talking to some random guys you see on YouTube on a call-in podcast show, use some of that effort after this show on yourself and do a self-assessment. Look at yourself in the mirror. What am I missing? What am I missing? Like there's a segment in my book where I talk about the 7 spokes of a high value guy that you got to level up. That's why I, mentioned my book. The other thing I'll say before we go, because we do have to start wrapping up, and I don't think we push this enough, but the school community is so fucking cheap. It's $50 a month, and there's almost 50 hours worth of content in there. There's an entire 3-hour segment that I did myself on the LTR component, the setup to it, the vetting process, and even for the guys that are like, I want to have a family and kids. How do I minimize the risk? There's also components built into that as well too. You get call-ins, you get the Zooms, you get the recordings. We have a fucking series of experts and chads in there that just deal specifically with dating, that are closer to your age than they are my age, right? That play this sort of game all the time. So, I mean, if you got $50 spare a month for like a gym membership, you probably got $50 for something like this. Get in the school community, right?
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and I think that answered my last question too, around when you know that you can't have that emotional intimacy with a woman. Is it kind of like you got to rely on these kinds of conversations where you can be open and honest from a man's perspective?
You need men. You need a tribe. You need a group of guys. You need a community.
That's my guy.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate it.
That's it.
Can
Kevin,
you
thanks, man. Appreciate the call in.
Can you drop a link
Rich.
in the chat, Moff, for the guys that might be wanting to grab that right now? He's going to put in the live chat and in all chat right now, guys. So click that link, open it after show, pop in your credit card, and join it. It's a month-to-month thing. You don't like it after 2 or 3 months, bounce. It's no sweat off your balls.
Okay, appreciate it, man. Thank you for the call.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate y'all watching. Should we wrap up?
All right. Yeah, let's go ahead. And
all right. Well, sorry about the internet, guys. I don't know what's going on here, but hopefully it's fixed for my Wednesday show. So you guys are live tomorrow night. You're doing ladies' night. I'm doing Wednesday at noon, Unplugged Alpha. I'm going to be talking about frame on that show, kind of like what this guy was asking, more on the LTR sort of stuff. And you're doing them office hours. I already saw that scheduled. So stay subscribed. Click the links. School of Unplugging, all that good stuff. Moff, go ahead.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. If you enjoyed that podcast, make sure you visit my website at richcooper.ca to learn more about my courses, my book, The Unplugged Alpha, community, or booking me for private coaching. Also, if you are a Canadian with $15,000 or more of credit card debt and what you are doing right now isn't paying off the balances, then visit totaldebtfreedom.ca and hit get a free quote to see if you qualify to settle your credit card debt for less than you owe today over the next 48 months. Make sure you check out the top pinned comment on YouTube for all the links mentioned during the show. Peace.